So I believe that we're live. I just clicked live, so I really hope it's working. If it's not, then I hope it will be eventually. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to UniHack 2021. My name is Sarah Pollack, and in this very American bombastic style, I'm welcoming you at the opening ceremony. Obviously, normally, if it wasn't for COVID, we would be celebrating drinking non-alcoholic beverages and having a great time and getting together and slapping each other on the shoulders. Alas, that cannot happen. However, we in the technological community are very versatile, so we thought we want to hack, but we have to do it online. So what we're doing is the second year of UniHack. The first one happened last year. It was a great success, as Borat says, great success, and it was, however, the beginning of the pandemic. So a lot of the optimism from what technology can bring and how it can really, we live in 2021, for God's sake. I'm sure that technology can help us battle the pandemic, but sadly it didn't often transpire. And there's been a growing frustration in not only the technological community that simply we're not seeing innovation rolled out at as fast pace as we could see it happen, especially in the educational and healthcare sectors. Education is something that we care very passionately about. We feel that it is a system that's broken, that's not working, despite the best efforts and blood, sweat, and tears from all involved. So we thought that we want to use technology for good and create an online international hackathon, a second year running, to make sure that we can really help the situation, help people educate themselves in a multidisciplinary, decentralized way, and build a whole new system for the global audience that just works. But that's enough me wittering on. I will tell you exactly what awaits you in this opening ceremony. So just to get the boring stuff out of the way, we will first... So the way that I like to take things is context, right? So we want to make sure that we understand why the hell we're dealing with education at UniHack in the first place, why it is that we have decided to dedicate an entire hackathon and some of the best minds in the local artificial intelligence tech scene here in Prague, but also from our great partners across the world, such as the University of Oxford, why the hell we're actually focusing on this. So that's going to be a big part of the, at least initial part of the presentation. And then gradually, I'm going to also partly demystify what a hackathon actually is, what's going to happen over the next 72 hours, and what is expected of you. Like setting the expectations in terms of like, we're not like hacking time here. Like what we want to do is come up with great ideas with a bunch of great people, but like we understand that you're not going to like come up with something that you're going to win a Nobel Prize for like in the next 24 hours. So also just like laying the ground rules so that you feel comfortable in the setting and that you understand everything. And then finally, I'll go into the mechanics of UniHack. What exactly is going to happen when? Where the hell do you log in? Like, I've already had emails thinking, oh my God, like, where do I sign up? It's fine. Relax. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to give you all the links, all the registration details, and I'm going to take you through all this in this presentation. Of course, you can play this back as well. So if you're bored or you think, oh my God, that was the best presentation of my life, you can listen to this whenever, like not just throughout the weekend, but like in 2 months' time when you feel sad and you really miss the atmosphere of UniHack. But all this information will obviously be available, and we'll be reiterating it throughout the weekend. So why we're here. This over here, but maybe just to give a little bit of personal context, I'm originally an archaeologist. I've spent the last like 10 years almost working in tech, and the last like 4 or 5 years, especially in artificial intelligence. So I have pivoted somewhat drastically, but I always love doing these archaeological analogies. And if you know me, you have the unfortunate fact of knowing that already. But Socrates in the educational kind of context is especially interesting, because he actually got poisoned. Well, he poisoned himself because he was given no other option by the judges and the like the Senate of Athens. But basically that he was corrupting Athens' youth. What he was doing is educating them in a slightly like extracurricular way. Like he was basically providing them with new type of education that wasn't really like stamped and approved in an administrative and bureaucratic way. So then basically what the local kind of bureaucrats decided to say is like, well, we want to exile you. He said, yeah, no way. Like I enjoy Athens too much. And frankly, during classical Greece, who wouldn't? But then basically they said, nah, you got to commit suicide. So he's like, yeah, okay. So he went on like a 3-day bender, drinking and partying with his students, and then finally like drank some poison. So That's the drastic measure. We don't live in classical Greece anymore, sometimes sadly, sometimes fortunately. But we do have other options how to change and shake up the educational system without someone having to drink cyanide in their apartment. So what we really want to show through this hackathon, when we put to one side all the organizational stuff, is that we have incredible technology at our fingertips. The internet. We can share data at an unprecedented speed and an unprecedented global scale. Someone from Brazil can be like writing a project or starting a startup with someone from Hong Kong. Like, that's crazy. That wasn't possible 20 years ago, not even 10 years ago. We didn't have the project management systems that we have now in order to be able to effectively scale and build new businesses, new projects, educate each other. And especially COVID has now shown us that education can come online. There's absolutely no reason why education just couldn't be in the cloud. And along with that come natural questions that people start asking. Does education end with you doing your A-levels or your international baccalaureate? Does it end with your bachelor's degree? Like, is the peak of education a doctorate? Or can my 82-year-old grandmother go and educate herself in artificial intelligence? Why shouldn't be able to? And how do we quantify these things? How do we measure them? How do we put them on one platform? All these are really, really big questions about human data transfer, the internationalization of education, making education available to everyone regardless of your background, and truly democratizing education with the help of tech. And that is basically why we're here and what the core question that this hackathon really aims to answer. So why do we obsess about education too much? And I can already see the entire Uni Hack team thinking, why did we let Sarah present this? So many archaeological metaphors that she's going to put in there. But frankly, education, the use of language, the use of symbolism, it has been something that has made sure that humans, and we're a pretty flimsy species, have managed to survive all these million years. Like, if you think about it, we're not that great physiologically. Like, we don't have particularly sharp teeth. We don't have any fur, or at least, like, not much of it. We don't have very good eyesight. Like, we don't smell well. Like, we're pretty bad at all of these, like, basic sensory things and actually looking after each other. But when it comes to exchanging data and data transfer, we're goddamn fantastic. Whether it's fairy tales and saying them around a fire, whether it's a caveman telling his son or daughter how to start a fire, where to collect the relevant wood, whether it's the origins of medicine. We've recently found out that Neanderthals already used primitive homeopathic medicines, for example, to treat various wounds in an antibiotic way. Making sure that we can transfer that information and build on it, like we're standing on the shoulders of giants. The fact that our predecessors were able to record what they learned and pass it on means that we now actually have information to put on the internet in the first place. Wikipedia is only possible because we've been collecting information for the last 400 years, for example, in a very, very holistic way. If the Romans haven't written all those annals about what happened to them and what happened to the Western Roman Empire when it fell, we wouldn't have that understanding of our own history. So education and the passing of information is absolutely crucial to anything. And we see in the field of artificial intelligence specifically that the level of demystification from the about AI, for example, amongst the general public is huge. People see, because the data transfer is bad, people watch Black Mirror, people watch iRobot, and they think, oh my God, artificial intelligence is going to kill us. Well, it's not, because it's basically at the level of beautiful and really helpful, but like statistical and analytical methods. Don't worry, it's not going to kill you because it physically can't. If anyone's going to kill you, it's another human using it badly or using anything else badly, as humans do throughout history. But this psychological block means that if we want to innovate healthcare, if we want to innovate, digitalize the state, if we want to do anything that we haven't done in COVID, we haven't taken a lot of opportunities that we have with digital during COVID, we can only do that through educating people about the technologies that are available, which is why the Uni Hack centers around education, because education is the only way that we're going to get this into the general public and actually get them enthused and create a grassroots movement that is going to make sure that we innovate and digitalize as a society. So the blend of tech and humans, or the human-computer symbiosis, is going to be key to the theme of UniHack. Obviously, we're Czech. We're saying hello from Prague. I'm streaming from Paralelní Polis. Thank you very much for the streaming studio. It's great to be here. And We didn't want to be very Czech-centric, though, because the last Uni Hack happened in Czech, which was cool. Everything was great. We had a Czech team that joined us from Taiwan, which was very exciting. But we thought, no, this is a global problem. Like, this is not just a Czech problem. This is a global problem. And we wanted to open it up to international partners and international participants. We are inundated with people from all over the world. We've got participants from India, from the UK. We've got people saying hello from Germany, America. It has really become an international event, which we are super hyped about. And it only shows the fact that the time is ripe and the time is prime for us to really build a decentralized online cloud community where everyone can cooperate. All you need is the internet, and we can actually solve world problems together. And this fact in itself, just like sit there and digest that, because this fact in itself is something that wasn't possible 5 years ago, and it is possible now. So let's use the opportunity and reinvent the educational system together. So if you're the type of person who's like, archaeological metaphors don't really do it for me, I want some numbers, well, I'll give you some numbers, because I realize we're a bunch of technologists and numbers are very important. So 43% is actually the, bearing in mind, every study says something completely different. So statistics, like, take them with a pinch of salt. But all the statistics that you see, especially on in terms of educational technology, they really do speak for themselves. The amount by which AI in education is about to increase on the global market by 2022 is 43%. To quantify this a little bit in cash monies, we're looking at a $6 billion market. However, I think it's even possible it's going to be more than that, because if you think how far-reaching education is and what education actually means in terms of humanity and the importance for us in terms of data transfer and educating not only our children but us as a population, it's so intertwined with the rest of society and all the socioeconomic implications that it is basically one of the core things that awaits us in the next decade at least. So we've kind of covered that. Yeah, education's important, cool. We've seen it through history, cool. Socrates, awesome. Even the ancients loved making computers. That little rusty thing that you saw there earlier ago, that was the Ankythera mechanism, roughly 800 BC, and which was actually an ancient Greek pretty much computer used to navigate ships according to the constellations. So it was pretty sophisticated. But you see the obsessions about tech and education and data transfer with humans like pretty much throughout our history. That's great. Hackathons. What the hell are they? Like, and I remember I was telling this to someone. I was I think grabbing an Uber on the way here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a hackathon." And they're like, "Oh my God, you're a criminal." I was like, "Well, no, not that I'm aware of. I just want to make the world a better place. Please stop hating me." But the problem is that the word hacker from this is from Kung Fury. If you haven't watched that, it's a fantastic movie. It's a little mini series where they basically try to hack time. It's like very 80s, and you've got the meme Hacker Man. That's basically where it's from. Or you've got like GoldenEye, where the guy it always takes like 10 seconds of furious typing. It's like, I'm in. I control the laser. That's not what we're doing here. Hackathon basically is the fastest, most elegant, and most scalable way how to solve a problem through a hive mind approach. Hive mind is basically getting a bunch of people together, like a bunch of fish or a bunch of bees or a bunch of ants, just with bigger brains, and talking about how the hell do we solve this problem at hand. And a hackathon it usually manifests itself somehow in technology. So like you use technology to be able to make this solution. But if you're camping out in the wild and you start a fire to make sure that you don't die of hypothermia, that is basically hacking the situation around you. So what we really want to do is, what we're trying to create here is an elegant solution that doesn't take 5 years to implement, because you have to get certain approvals from various stakeholders. We're looking for a legal, easy, quick, scalable way how to solve the educational crisis. So just so you know what we're doing, that's what a hackathon is. We've actually decided not to even call it a hackathon. Hackathon is kind of like a word. It combines marathon, another archaeological metaphor, with hacking. But what we really want to do is more of an ideathon. So it's a burst of time, usually around 3 days, where people just get together in this kind of society that they come and they form it and they disperse again, hopefully maintaining the bonds and the friendships that they've created. But it's like a burst, solve a concrete problem, and then disperse through a hive mind approach. So just so you know exactly like the theme of this and why we're doing it. Just to go very briefly through the history of UniHack. So 2020, almost exactly a year ago, 11 months ago, we did the first one. It was initiated by a great friend and one of the people on the organizing team of UniHack 2021, Abram, who at the time was in Finland studying. So one of the very successful Czechs in the space of tech, going out into the world and showing what a great talent Czech Republic has. And it was the first online student hackathon, which was great because it was something that hasn't really been done before here in the Czech Republic. And some great projects came out of it. One of them was, for example, measuring the health of trees in the municipality of Prague. And it was basically like a crowd project where people like take a photo of the tree. It tells you whether it's healthy or not. And then like you go home again. And it creates this database that basically like analyzes the health of the greenery. And it contributes to the idea of the smart city. I worked on one project which was also actually measuring and quantifying education. So how you compare various degrees of talent of various kids, like if a kid is more talented in the like mathematical side of things or more in the humanities side of things, how you can test them differently and compare those things to one another. We were doing dispersing energy with the help of satellite imagery combined with the energy data and energy consumption here on the ground. So creating a decentralized energy system, which we're actually thinking about reopening as a theme with a group of hackers, which Ondra is also a part of for another hackathon. So this is exciting that the ideas live on and we keep working with them somehow. But I think that it's fair to say that we were somewhat, our great enthusiasm was somehow dampened by the fact that all these ideas are really difficult to get into practice, mainly through various types of regulation, or the fact that obviously you've got a bunch of enthusiasts like doing hacking on weekends, and then you've got a state strategy that is being implemented, and there's often like a big divide between that. So trying to find the way how these various entities can collaborate together to make sure that these great ideas actually come into practice. And it's been more difficult than not over the last year to make sure that that happens. But we have figured out, as I've already said, at the risk of repeating myself, that education of the public is really the biggest problem here. The Aspen Institute of Central Europe actually recently did a study on the matter where they said, for example, in the case of the Czech Republic, you've got great talent coming out of the technical universities, fantastic startups, a lot of potential investment that's not sometimes like actually being realized. But the problem is that people are not educated technologically. Like if you look at the level of education in terms of tech or like digital literacy in places like Israel or Finland or Estonia or Taiwan, it's completely on another level. And we're massively lacking behind here. But we see that the reason is not that the people wouldn't want to educate themselves. They don't know how, and they don't have the means to measure that lifelong learning. And a lot of the times the educational system, again, despite best efforts from the fantastic teachers that are often in it, is a bit Austro-Hungarian and a bit stale. So we want to shake things up and make it better. So this kind of thought process is partly what led us to the UniHack 2021 that we're kicking off right now. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching the opening ceremony of UniHack 2021. I got to do this, just a bit of cool moderation. Here I want to show you that we're not just a bunch of crazy people who've somehow thought we think that we're very important, so we're going to do it again. There was, because it was in Czech, it was local coverage, but great local coverage about what has been happening at the last UniHack. So it was something that was taken up. It's something that got a fair amount of media attention, and we hope to provoke this dialogue on a global scale with this hackathon now. So we're taking it one step further megalomanically. So what have we actually seen change in society? So we've seen certain frustrations on an anecdotal level. And of course, we'll be talking about that more in the series of workshops that we've got prepared for you throughout the weekend. But what have we also anecdotally seen that has actually changed for the better, just so I don't like do all doom and gloom over here? So people are generally much more open to tech. Things like, that you can see that in general throughout society, whether it's things like cryptocurrencies, whether it's things like micro trading, whether it's things like actually opening up online accounts, doing like online courses. All these, like, people are warming up because they're stuck at home on the internet. So basically humans are very resourceful and very adaptive. So they're going to just start exploring this new horizon. And for a lot of people, this was a new horizon. But because there's so much of it, and because the internet is basically just a huge bunch of stuff and can be uncurated, people are sometimes in chaos in terms of how to use it. And you can see that we've got a lot of unprecedented situations popping up where society doesn't know how to handle these new technologies. I mean, the fact that we recently had a situation where, due to the trading of certain micro investments and micro investors from Reddit, basically took down a hedge fund on Wall Street because they decided to invest in GameStop. And suddenly, like hedge fund regulations and like the Ministry of Finance regulations, all of that stuff is actually not prepared for this level of innovation, because the innovation is happening at an exponential scale. And regulations and the standard administrative procedures are not innovating at the same pace, because they take 2 to 3 years to change, or like even for the debate about them to open. So there is a certain amount of chaos in between these two worlds, and we find it difficult to bridge. And again, education is the thing that can help us bridge that. So we are basically trying to set up this ecosystem, this community of enthusiastic individuals who don't care about any of that, who don't care about the chaos, and who actually just go in there and offer concrete solutions for ordinary people out there, so that we can help move that one step forward. So, and I've very intelligently put this third bullet point, so I'm sitting right above it, but I'll read it out to you, so don't worry, you're not missing anything. So what is the ultimate goal of UniHack? So obviously there's a lot, like you could write 10 philosophical books on the matter, but ultimately we're dealing with, we want better data transfer and data collection, whether that's in teaching, whether that's in teaching methodology, whether that's in adapting curricula, but we want that data knowledge transfer that I've been talking about to be more agile, to be scalable, to be clean, and to be easily trackable. So that's definitely something that is important for us. Personalized learning, if we've discovered anything, is that humans are not just statistics. I mean, Stalin used to enjoy saying that, but humans are, as is in the life of Brian, we're all individuals, and therefore the educational system should treat us as such. I was terrible at calculus. I remember I was awful at it. I really enjoyed ancient Rome, but the system wasn't tailored to that. I had to do calculus anyway, although I hated it at the time and I wasn't any good at it, and it made my life a misery. And I know I'm not the only one. People have predispositions towards certain things. So why not have personalized homework? Why not have personalized curricula? Why not involve extracurricular activities? If someone enjoys doing ceramics and they simultaneously want to become a machine learning engineer, why not? But the system doesn't have the flexibility to account for that level of personalization and flexibility. And that is something that we also want to change, because it's actually not that difficult to solve. The data's there. You just need to be able to collect it. So that's something that we want to focus on as well. And then finally, if I go to one side here, you've got lifelong education and community. So the education, and definitely like as an anthropologist, you see this when you like analyze different educational systems from all over the world. Education systems differ. Like we have a very kind of Euro-American model in terms of measuring like what good grades look like and what education should ideally look like. But that varies wildly from place to place. And it is really important to, again, give that cultural flexibility, but also the kind of demographic flexibility. Like not everyone is going to go and do a PhD, and that's fine. Like you sometimes see these like university courses which are like in jam making, and the only purpose is that you earn that degree, because without the degree you can't get a job. It's like, why? Just go do jam, start up a business. Like you don't have to have a master's degree from jam making. Just go enjoy your life and do whatever actually makes you happy and what you're good at, because that's how you're best going to contribute to society. I'm not jumping through some artificial loops. So this is also something that we want to open up, and we think that creating a digital space for this to happen in will give people that flexibility. And this is a lot more grainy than I remember it, and I'm sorry about that. But I wanted to put this in here just because me and a few of the other enthusiasts sometimes like discuss the more philosophical side of education, this kind of distributed data transfer in education. And it's a phenomenon called swarm intelligence. Look it up. It's really cool. I don't want to go into details here, but if you look at the way that schools of fish or herds move, or like how rugby players pass to one another, or that kind of like unexpected way of transferring data without talking explicitly about it. Swarm intelligence is something that humans are really, really good at, and creating this kind of hive mind is going to be really, really key to make sure that we innovate the educational system in the way that we should. So I just wanted to put a little infographic there to tease your grey matter a little bit. And again, I need to make sure that I can do these presentations a little bit more in a more intelligent way, because I'm sitting across a quarter of it. But again, I'll read it to you. So the UniHack features, above all, take it easy. I've had people coming up to me very stressed, which is fine because that means you're taking it seriously, which is awesome. But basically saying like, oh my God, like, am I going to win? Like, where do I collect points? Like, very serious. It's fine. We're a bunch of, like, it's a pretty punk setup. We're obviously, like, it's a group of some of the biggest experts, like, whether in education or technology, artificial intelligence, and everywhere in between. So you've really got some of the top people from all walks of life that are going to be mentoring you and judging you. And I mean, not judging you thinking you look weird, but actually, like, judging your project. So it's a really, like, high-level community. At the same time, we're very, very open and very, very friendly. So relax, have fun, meet new people, network. Don't be scared. It's going to be held in English, but if you struggle with English, you want to talk in Czech, just reach out to someone on Slack and we'll help you, we'll guide you through it. And we're not here to like destroy your psyche over the course of 72 hours. Of course, it's going to be fun. You might be up late. You'll be doing various stuff, coding, I don't know, putting together presentations, but like we don't want you to like have a heart attack. So just enjoy yourself. Remember to enjoy yourself. Right, now I've given all the big spiel, everything is really enthusiastic, everything looks great, we're going to change the global future of education. Who are we? Like, as far as you're concerned, I could just be some like random person who really enjoys archaeology and AI talking at you. It is pretty much that, but there's also like other people and a structure around this. So I'm going to introduce that to you now. So in a highly expert graphic portrayal, we've got go on www.unihack.cz, where you'll see this in a much more graphically pleasing way. But at the very far end there is basically the group, the organizational team. So it's Alča Brožová. I've been working with her on several projects, for example, Czech Global, which was a hackathon, actually creating a cloud community with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we've been working a lot together. She's an awesome girl. I know few people who are as organized as her and who can do Slack organization, which is like herding cats, but she somehow manages. I don't know how. So Alča, sending hello. She'll be the person who you'll see a lot posting instructions. So on Slack, if you see Alča's name, she's the person who knows what's going to happen, where and how. So she's the info guru. We've got Eliška Novotná. Eliška, we've worked together on COVID. Which was basically like a festival showing what the Faculty of Informatics and Technology can offer us, and like all the great research groups there. And she's someone who's capable of creating graphically stunning, amazing, engaging stuff within like minutes. Again, I don't know how she does it, but it's about 250% better than what you're seeing here. But she is responsible of making sure that not this particular slide, but the rest of UniHack looks so beautiful, and that we've got such great thumbnails and graphics, and she's really the meat and bones behind all that. Jiří Borský, also called Zup, which is a scout nickname, Tooth, translating that because we're international. I was with him. He's dedicated to tech, and he's a great technical help. I was talking to him about half an hour ago when I didn't know how to start streaming from YouTube. I know, very tech, much wow. But he was on the call being psychological support. So thank you very much, Zup, for that. He's the kind of like tech bedrock of the team. Then we've got Ondra Brem. I already mentioned him. He was the kind of founding father, like George Washington of the last UniHack. So he is very passionate about the topic. He's very kind of passionate about hacking in general. We geek out together over Elon Musk. One of the things we want to do now is bring Tesla batteries into the Czech Republic and make the whole, without revealing too much, but basically electrify the whole country with the help of Tesla. So more to come on that front. But yeah, Ondra's a great partner in crime on that. Pavel Kordík, he's a great dude, just in general. And if you want a good chat and a good beer and a good talk about AI, you have to go to him. He also founded Reckonbee and Unico AI, two great Prague-based startups. And he looks after the relationships between industry and the students on the Faculty of Informatics, which essentially means that he's responsible to make sure that students not only study very hard, but then also apply what they've studied in real life, which especially in the case of artificial intelligence is so important because theory and practice really differ wildly, and you'll find that out for yourself during this hackathon, that saving the world is great, but then actually like making sure that it happens is quite difficult. Petr Dedo is looking after the partners and making sure that all the prizes, the amazing prizes that you're going to get, that you actually get them. Communicating. He's a great diplomat in terms of like his emails. Like you just want to cooperate with him. So it's thanks to him also that we've got the amount of fantastic partners that we've got. Obviously, we are a great group of people and we do very important things, but Petr is great at managing those relationships as well. So thank you very much. Then you've got me with my arms crossed, looking really serious, just talking basically. And then finally Tomáš Studeník, who is the kind of chief urban hacker here in the Czech Republic. He organizes a lot of these hackathons. He organized the last one and a lot of the ones in between. So one of his latest ones is Robothon, because the word robot is actually Czech. We're very proud of that. It was written in the book RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots by Karel Čapek. It celebrated 100 years this year. So Tomáš was organizing the last hackathon, which was called Robothon, and he also was behind the project where artificial intelligence, so based on NLP methods, basically wrote a new theatre play, which was very exciting, and that streamed last weekend. So we're very happy to have him on board. And then these three gentlemen definitely deserve a mention because they're mentors, but they've also been really involved in the day-to-day. Valery Senichev, he's a friend from the Aspen Institute. We were there together, and he's helping me organize mentors and judges, and he's really, really great. He's a great mentor. He is really kind of skilled at consulting individuals and groups, and is a great educator. So it's an honor to work with him. Tomáš Hille, another friend from Aspen. This man is connected to probably anyone that you can think of. It's fascinating. This dude will just say, you'll say, oh yeah, like, oh, I wish I could talk to this person. He's like, oh yeah, like, no, I'm having lunch with him later. What do you need? So you want this guy as a mentor. He's great, and he's been a great kind of organizational support throughout as well. And David Pešek is a friend, I dare say, and a cool dude. He's a technological scout for the Technical University here, and supplies good beer, a good mood, and also a lot of organizational kind of help. So thank you, David, for that. Now, introducing the schedule. So what the hell will we actually be doing throughout the weekend? So we're now at the first bit, welcome and introduction to UniHack, which blends beautifully into the 15:30, what are the topics and who will judge your work, which I'll tell you shortly. And given that it's 15:35, I'm actually on time, which doesn't really happen because I talk so much that I'm usually delayed. But this is the introduction, is the opening ceremony. And then what we want to do in parallel, we'll basically have two kind of streams of information streaming throughout UniHack. So the first one is the official deadlines that you will need as teams. So the first one, that is called a checkpoint. Checkpoint number 1 is submitting the team and the composition and the selected track, which I'll talk to you about shortly, at 7:30 CET, all these are Central European time, today. So once this finishes, you will please join Slack, the UniHack Slack. You will have gotten that in your invite email. Check your spam if you think you haven't gotten it. If you haven't gotten that email, please email unihackcz@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that we add you into Slack. But Slack is the #1 priority. You'll get all the instructions there. All the communication will be there. And then once you've assembled your team, which will happen on a very organic basis unless you've already signed up as a team, you get your mentor. It'll be like a pick and choose, like I want to say like Tinder, but that is a really, really bad, unhelpful metaphor. Something like Tinder that isn't Tinder. Basically, we've got a pool of people and another pool of people, and you try to match somehow. That's what's going to be happening. So matchmaking in Slack. And then 8 o'clock today, we'll have a workshop. But the workshops that you see are basically a parallel program that you don't need to attend them. It would be very helpful to attend them, of course, because they'll be giving you important information. And they will be kind of thematically relevant. Like they'll be telling you what to avoid. It'll be like group mentoring sessions. It'll be held in this really cool virtual place, which I'll show you shortly, but it's somewhere where you want to be. And with this, I would like to invite you to the first workshop that will be happening today, which is at 4:30, so roughly in 50 minutes, which will be by Mickey Škoda. Mickey is works in a bunch of educational kind of both startups and kind of digital initiatives, but is also like a long-term educator in his own right, either as a scout leader or actually like educating people, counseling them. He's working a lot with scientists about how to popularize science effectively. So he's someone that definitely in a multidisciplinary way brings all of this beautifully together. And he'll be having the first workshop at 4:30 with his organization Leap Makers. He used to go around schools and basically some of the stuff that he saw and what the kids are really missing from the curriculum, like how to do your taxes, like how to start a business, like all these really practical things that are missing. He was very like disenchanted by, so he tried to change that, and he's been dedicating his life to changing that. So he'll be the first workshop. So I urge you all to join that. And then the other workshops, for example, with Deep Note at 8 o'clock, which will be about data analysis and visualization. So again, something that you want to know before you dive in very enthusiastically into your project. You want to understand what type of data that you're dealing with. So these workshops, check them out. We'll be advertising them, we'll be putting them online, we'll be streaming them from the YouTube channel as well, but they will be held in the virtual space. So please join that. I'll show you how to log in very, very briefly. And of course, you can also log in. If you go to www.unihack.cz, then you can add all of these to your calendar. So don't worry, everything's connected because we're a bunch of technologists who really enjoy connecting everything and all the systems because that's our life. Oh, and just a final note, it'll be ending sadly, all of this will be over at 6 o'clock CET when the prizes will be given out on Sunday. Introducing the tracks. So we've got 3 tracks at UniHack: skills and learning certificates. So think about this as gamification of learning. So I was talking previously about the personalization of education. So let's say that someone's talented at writing essays and someone else is talented at like oral feedback or oral examination, and someone else is talented at sports. And all these people are equally talented in various things, but they just cannot be given the same homework because they'll have different results. The educational system is not prepared for that because you're technically, like from a data perspective, as the system stands now, you're comparing apples and oranges. And what do you do if you want to, for example, enter a 17-year-old and an 85-year-old into the same educational program? All these things are actually now starting to be massively questioned, and lifelong learning and multidisciplinary learning is something that is really being brought up to the forefront of this discussion, and we don't know how to measure it, and we want to measure it coherently, and we want to measure it within one platform. So categorizing knowledge and measuring knowledge, that's going to be the first track. The second track is matchmaking and exchanging knowledge. So great, okay, you've got the knowledge, you've got it categorized, awesome. How do you matchmake? So just to give you an example, I work on several various projects, and it often happens to me that I meet one person and I think, wow, okay, that person could connect to 10 other people because I see that they've got a lot in common. But they're from different organizations. It takes like 15 different emails to say, oh, hi, X, I want to introduce you to Y. I think that they're, like all these things like LinkedIn and like putting people into CC. And like, yeah, you can have a CRM to organize that, but it's difficult. And automating the kind of effective transfer of knowledge and making sure that the right thoughts get to the right people and vice versa is really difficult. So that is what the second track is going to be about. Finally, project-based learning. So as I was saying, Pavel Kordik, for example, who is responsible for the transfer of knowledge between students and the making sure that students can work in applied sectors in industry, and making sure that they can manifest their skills and test them in a real practical setting. That's project-based learning. So that's going to be the third track where we will basically be looking at learning and making sure that you memorize stuff, which is not a great way to learn, by the way, and then actually getting on an assignment and project managing your stuff, or like making sure that you make deadlines, or that making sure that you know how to prototype well. Again, this is really important, and we can do it on like an ad hoc basis, but doing project-based learning at scale is really, really difficult. So say that there's someone hugely talented, they've never worked in a startup in their life, they, for example, worked in a factory, they've got a great business idea. How do they learn about like the basics of, say, artificial intelligence, and then how do they apply it? They're two completely different educational worlds, and like this person is maybe like 45 and they want to start their business in 2 months. Like, how do you make sure that they can actually do that? So all these tracks basically center around the same gravitational field, which is education and modernizing that, innovating that. But we approach it from the gamification of learning, the structure of knowledge transfer, and then finally the practicalities of how to put the great ideas into practice, which is effectively what this hackathon is in the first place. Introducing the mentors and the judges. Right, now this is very important because there's a lot of them. So I won't be going through each individual mentor or judge because we'd be here like for the next 6 hours. But there's approximately 60 mentors, approximately 15 judges. Just to name some examples of where these people come from, we've got people from the top educational institutions. We've got people from abroad. So we've got someone who's heading the entrepreneurship program at Oxford University. We've got someone from New York joining us from DeepNote. We've got Tomáš Mikolov, one of the most cited AI scientists, like in Europe, definitely, if not the world, in terms of machine learning, who'll be judging you, and he'll be judging you hard. We've got people who create things that go into space for schools, like a huge variety from all walks of life, and we're very excited for that. So check out www.unihack.cz and you'll see all the great mentors and judges. We'll be updating that a little bit as we've had some last-minute entries because everyone's so enthusiastic, everyone wants to participate so much, but just so you know. And finally, introducing what platforms will be used. So basically now if you're wondering, okay, great presentation, but what do I do? Where do I listen to all this stuff? Like, what is going on? I'm going to tell you now. So the two important things are Slack. So this is just a screen grab from Slack UniHack 2021. So Alcha Brožová, I told you, she's on it like Sonic. You already see that UniHack 2021 starts in an hour. Beautiful emojis because the human brain is adapted to make sure that we're centered around like visuals and symbols. So we like emojis, and Alcha is very good at that. So she'll be giving you instructions into the info channel. If you want to share like random stuff, like hey guys, like I saw a dog walking on the street, which is something that I would do, or some random stuff from archaeology, which again is something that I would, in the random, it's probably going to just be me posting a bunch of random stuff and memes, all right? So I'm sorry in advance, but there's various channels dedicated to various things. Some of them are locked, so you see the little lock next to it. If you're not in there, I'm really sorry. It's not that we want to exclude you, but it's, for example, when judges are messaging each other, like about the individual teams, we don't want everyone to see that because we only unveil that at a specific time. Or if we do like organization and in between ourselves, we're saying, how the hell do you stream to YouTube? I don't know. We don't want you to see that we're like we don't know what we're doing, because we know what we're doing and everything's prepared a lot in advance and in a really highly professional way. So there's no reason for that channel to be locked. But if you're not in a channel, don't worry. We're not excluding you. It's literally just that we don't want to like put too much information on your plate. But everything will also be happening in English. Again, if you struggle with English, just message one of us. Message me. Like I'll be looking after the bilingual side of things as well. So if you want, message me. I'll direct you to the right place. Don't worry. We're here to support you. The second thing, with which I took a screenshot like directly before this stream and entered it, so that it looks all nice and that you see what's going on. So I'm sorry about that, my face in the face mask up there. But I really actually wanted to use this opportunity to thank the Together platform. This is not like the Oscars where I'm going to like thank everyone and be here for the next like 80 hours, but Together, the way that this partnership happened, and this little story is actually something that I think shows the importance of like doing education a different way. I was at this conference that was centered around a particular place in Germany and their industry and manufacturing. And we're basically talking about like heavy industry and manufacturing and like steel and cars and the automotive. And I was saying something about artificial intelligence there because that's basically all I do. And it was on this platform, and I thought, this is a really cool platform. Like, I haven't heard of this before. It's really, really good. And then Matthias, who was looking after the tech side of things at this like little conference that we had, we were chatting afterwards. And I was saying, oh, look, we're doing this Uni Hack, and this is exactly something that we need. It looks really cool. And Matthias, without blinking an eye, was like, we'll be your partner. Like, we'll just give it to you for free. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Like, and I was like, is he like going to want me to like sell him my organs, or like, am I going to sign something and pay like 25,000 euros afterwards? Like, is this real? But then I saw that it was a genuine, like, philanthropic, like, on the spot created partnership. And it was just great. And it works great. They've tailored this whole system for us. And basically what that is that you log in. Again, the login details will be in Slack, and they've also been emailed to you yesterday. And basically, like, you log in and you can go to the individual rooms. So the workshop with Mickey that I was saying that starts at 16:30 CET, it'll be happening here. So you can go and join it in the workshop space, and you literally like just drag it's like a little circle avatar, and you just drag it to the specific physical room that you want to be in, and you can listen and see everything from that room and chat to people, and people in other rooms don't hear you. So it's like a virtual Slack, or it's like a 3D Slack, or it's like a 3D kind of virtual space. So really thank you for that collaboration. It's great that like all these tech enthusiasts are coming together and collaborating. We're really happy to have this platform, and we really hope that you enjoy it as well. And the agenda is here in case you get lost. So, I remember I was talking about swarm intelligence. Aha, school of fish. How do they move like that? Maybe if we could get the educational system to work in a decentralized, cool, automated way like this, that would be very cool also. But we're far away from that, but not too far. So we'll get there at the end of the weekend. So the immediate next steps, what I absolutely need you to do, so important, get that tattooed on your forehead for the next 72 hours, so important, is join Slack. Like, that's the number one thing. Join Slack. If you haven't gotten the Slack invitation, either in the invite email or like you just haven't got it, email unihackcz@gmail.com, or go to the website www.unihack.cz. All the instructions will be there. Message one of us and we'll make sure to direct you and we'll add you to all the right channels. Then choose your track. So the 3 tracks that I was talking about, choose one with your team. And make sure that you've picked your team, and that everything is going ahead. And then you will also organically kind of pair yourselves up with the mentors. Join the two together platform. There you'll be able to listen to workshops, and you'll be able to meet each other and mingle in a little bit more of a physical way than you would be on Slack. And that's it. And remember, today at 7:30, you have to give in the registration of your teams and what track you're subscribing to. So this evening, Friday is the first checkpoint. You'll see it in the calendar, but that's the first checkpoint. So make sure in the next 3 hours you pick that. Pick wisely. Don't pick what you think will one day earn you a lot of money. Don't pick what you think that your granny would like you to pick. Pick what you think you'll actually be good at, and what you think, like, where your idea can bring the biggest support. How to communicate. You can ping the info channel on Slack. That's where all the instructions are going to be, as I already showed you. If you could share on social media. I'm an idiot and I put the wrong hashtag here. So do not use this hashtag because I got over enthusiastic and picked the wrong one. It's UniHack CZ. So instead of 2021, it's CZ. So hashtag UniHack CZ. If you could join, it's the Faculty of Informatics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We'll be sharing like crazy. So you'll see posts from us individually, but also from the various partners and organizations that are doing this. So please share us far and wide, because we want this idea to become viral. We want to inspire, to sound cheesy as hell, we want to inspire the world to go in the same direction, and for more people to start thinking in this way. So please spread this far and wide as much as you can. It'll really help, and it'll also help your projects at the end of it, because they're much more likely to get exposure and potentially financial backing, etc. So it really helps the community the more you spread it. And then if you feel lost, then you go to unihack.cz or email unihackcz@gmail.com. And what roughly happens, because I realize I've just thrown so much information at you, I'm going to tell you really simple terms what happens both days. So Friday, it's today. I also forgot what day it was. So Friday, you hear me talking. Hello, opening ceremony, done. Pick your team, pick your mentor, 7:30, deadline, submit that, and you can start happily hacking away. Saturday, you theoretically meant to do a like vast chunk of the work, etc. Get to know each other, network, mingle, become best friends for life, etc. Go to all the cool workshops that will be happening. But Saturday is not a relaxing day. It's a work hard day. Sunday is where about 90% of the work happens in reality, because everyone realizes, oh my God, I have to submit everything in about 2 hours. So the deadline to submit everything is 3 o'clock CET. What will be happening is that around like 12:30, people will be like relatively chillaxed, and then 12:30 they'll have lunch and a Red Bull, and they'll be like, damn, I have to submit like all this stuff. So Sunday will be pretty hectic, but that'll be the final push. And then finally, 6 o'clock, you'll get judged. You'll all get your beautiful prizes. And we don't go home. We foster this community, and then we see each other at UniHack 2022, which is definitely going to happen. So the Faculty of Informatics, Cheve Ute, the Czech Technical University, is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but also LinkedIn. So find us there. The hashtag is hashtag UniHackCZ, but also all of us personally will be tweeting, Instagramming, everything. So don't be shy. It's a community. If Kylie Jenner can Instagram her butt, you can Instagram about hacking, because it's much more interesting. So don't be shy, go for it, and create a cool community vibe around it, because that's exactly what we need, because we're not cool, we're just a bunch of geeks, so we need to look cool on social media. And I realize that some people absolutely cannot stand Elon Musk, who this quote is from. I love the guy because I know that he's crazy, and that sometimes things like Neuralink are much more like unworking prototypes than something as revolutionary as it may seem. However, he is someone who doesn't really care about the status quo, and who goes his own way and paves his own way. And I know that changing the educational system is like, what? Like, okay, like a bunch of random Czechs have now decided to reinvent the education system. Good for you guys. But why not? Why wouldn't we be able to? Like, we only have one life. Like, I don't want to like die at whatever age that I die thinking that I didn't try to make it work and didn't change it, especially if the technology is already there to help make it happen. So don't be shy. Just go and do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? No one's going to judge you. We're all friendly. We're all just like a bunch of geeks who want to make the world a better place. So go for it. Go hack. Go innovate. It can be as crazy as you want it to be, as long as it's legal and it makes vague technological sense and it makes the world a better place. You can make it work. So with this, I want to leave you today. I'm going to stop talking. Remember, you can watch this retrospectively. We'll be on social media. Join Slack. It's like that Lord Kitchener from World War I poster. I want you to join Slack. That's the #1 thing that you need to do right now. If you don't know what, go to the website or email us on the email address, unihackcz@gmail.com. And we really look forward to this. It's only going to be as good as we make it, and we got to make it great, and it will be great. So thank you so much. We've got 72 hours of awesomeness starting now. If you've got any questions, ask us. But now go and change the world. Thank you so much. And I also would really like to help all the co-organizers that made this happen. The Faculty of Information Technology in Prague, Prague AI, CE Hacks, Unico AI, Paralelní Polis for lending us this great streaming studio, and the Pioneers Lab, which is dedicated to the multidisciplinary content creation around artificial intelligence, but also our various partners that you'll see on our website who have also provided great prizes. Thank you so much to them, because we wouldn't be able to make it without them. And of course, to all of you and the entire organizational team who's making it all work underneath the canopy. So thank you. I've been Sarah. It's been a great honor, and